Okay, I might have accidentally showed my big announcement a little bit earlier than intended. Hey, I'm here. I'll wait slightly so we have some more people showing up. Okay, no, we got like six-ish. Okay. Well, this will probably be propping up throughout other parts of the stream. I'll mention it, put in the Discord as well. But I am pleased to announce that Void Collector is coming out on April 26th. So that will be a Saturday. So everybody should be able to, hopefully, I assume most people are probably off Saturday. Should be noon EST. This is the date that we are gunning for. So, yeah, this is what we're going for. We're gaming. We are very much on track to hit this date. Things are looking pretty good. All that's left now is some extra bug fixing and polishing, but the content of the game is entirely finished. So, yeah, today we're going to be working on buckling down, battening down the hatches, and working on some of the last bits and pieces to get everything together. Yeah, so that's the big announcement, is that it is coming out pretty soon, a little more than a month. So let me go ahead and post that in the Discord. Here's the announcement. Okay. Anyways, that's the thing. That's what we're doing. That's our jam. Let me turn on my background music. Get that at a good volume. There we go. Turn off the starting soon. Then we're going to go to the goal text. Today's goal is polish, refine, etc. Game is coming April 26th. And I think for all future streams up until the game comes out, we're gonna have a little countdown. So that'll be exciting. Anyways, let's say hi to everybody. We got Ethan Levy, good to see you. 2 Multiply, Eraser Pace, Mr. Jonas, Ozzy, Go Play Outside, and Ice Animates. There we go. Good to see everybody. Hope you're doing well. What cost? It'll be $10. $10. Which I think feels like a pretty fair price. I was trying to, when I was coming up with the cost, I wanted to make sure it'd be something that I would buy and think, oh, that's a good value. Like, not just it's worth the money, but make it feel like I got more than my money's worth out of it. That's the goal of the price point. Yeah, pretty simple. For extra polish, you get a throwing animation for the Jebs. I actually do have that on my list of one of the things I want to do. Except we try to add Void Collector to the Nintendo Switch. No, mostly because I haven't planned for that. Porting is, I have to get the development kit, which is its own separate bag of worms. But I could see myself doing that for other games in the future, especially with the Switch 2 seeming like that's going to have mouse functionality. Because that's kind of the issue with Void Collector, is that it does not work on console with the controller, with the controls. Because I've tried mapping it to a controller, it just doesn't work. This game feels like dog water to play on controller. So, you know, for other games, like Void Collector 2, if I make some changes to that, so that way it more naturally works on controller, then I could see myself doing that. Yeah. I'm seeing that you are talking about a plush, a new plush Eraser Paste. Looking forward to seeing that. Who's the ghost with the cigar? These are all. This is Bomb Bastard or Ball Bastard. This is. Yeah, you know what? Go watch one of the more recent videos. I think I cover them all in that. Now what are we doing? Okay, so first thing I want to do, we'll just go to the hub level first. Which, in case you haven't tuned in a little while, is looking a lot more fleshed out than it used to. It's way more of a real place now. One of the first things I want to do is we're doing a little bit of reworking to the X-ray function. And, you know, let's go into the first level of Windmillion, just so we can do some straightforward testing here. So, what it used to do is it would sort of make everything else blue and then make the enemies a purple. But now what it does is it applies this kind of like texture that you can see through walls. Now, the issue is that this sort of material only works on three-dimensional meshes and not on flat 2D sprites. So each actor has like a little square piece behind them that you can see things, like that you can see through walls. But then if you look at them directly, then you can see them. It's really weird and janky. But I think this effect needs some extra work to get looking a little bit better. So what we're going to do is go to the X-ray material, which is right here. And it's a little hard to get a good visualization on it. But we've got the color, we've got this custom depth value, and this is basically just how we get all of the warbliness that we get on that effect. So what we want to do is get a... yeah, I've got all my old code for it here. What we want to do is get a smooth linear interpolation between the parts that we're highlighting, which is basically, simply put, all of this stuff. Which I believe we could just do one of these. So we just grab, like, so let's say we grab the purple here, and then plug that into the lerp. Then, yeah, it'll make everything purple, but I think, yeah. So this makes things a lot easier to see when they get these nice pink highlights. Yeah, I think this works a lot better for being able to actually locate stuff. Yeah, you can see the dots a lot more clearly. Okay, easy peasy. Look, the recent video didn't cover the enemies I listed. I think you forgot to post a video. Oh, I wasn't sure exactly which ones you're asking about. All the enemies in the game are covered in a video or a stream, but I'll put one out relatively soon because it's been a while since I posted, and that'll cover pretty much everything up until like launch. So that'll be like a big sort of covering of everything, and that'll be before the game comes out. But I'll give more details there. Let me pop up this video. Oop. Uno momento. Alright, we're taking a brief diversion here to watch... let me get the link. Bop. That is a video by the one and only Eraser Paste. Yeah. So we can see the new plush. I think he looks good. It's a little hard to see with all the shaking. Oh shit, he's got the supernova. Nice. Hey, this looks really good. No, why'd you throw him? Okay, this music, I'm turning the music up. The music is driving me insane. Yeah, this definitely looks like it took a lot of work. But then yeah, 2 versions. Alright, cool. Subscribed and liked. Good work. Okay, so one thing we need to do, and this was pointed out to me by Oro, and this is not something I've actually ever thought about. So, you pause, you go to Controls, and you got a list of all the buttons you can press. Pretty straightforward, just shows you everything that you can do, and lets you rebind them. Now, one thing I realized, or well, Oro pointed out, is that there is not a listing for the X-ray function in the input binding menu. So what we're going to do is add that. So we're going to go to Blueprint, Input, I'm going to go to Actions, and then let's go, we just need a simple button input. So let's copy IA Detonate, since that'll have the same kind of input that we need, and rename you to IA X-ray. So it's a digital bool value type, which means it can be on or off, which is good for just something where you press the button. That's all we need. We just need that simple input. And then what we need to do is go to the player mappable key settings. There we go. I got my little ring light is blocking my view there. And I actually think we have probably a better example here. Oh, that's right. I list these here in the input menu. Right. So now we've got that new input called IA X-ray. And if we go to the mapping context, this is a place where all of your inputs are stored, essentially, where you can then code how the different inputs should work and how they are set by default. So if we go to IA X-ray, we set the keyboard input to X as the default, and then we add some triggers for input action, which we already have, but I need the extras there. We go to, I think it's override settings, player mappable key settings, yeah. And then what we do is set the name to X-ray, and then X-ray, and I believe the display category should be, let's see, it should be in movement. Technically it's in movement, but close enough. It's one of the two categories we're going with. So it's called X-ray, movement. What's the data validation? Can be null input modifier and a key mapping. I remember this just kind of does this sometimes. I don't really get why it does that. It saves properly and everything works properly. It'll just it'll throw an error at me, even though nothing actually went wrong. Okay, then we'll Control F and look for the X key. X key. There's a lot of X's here, huh? Yeah, one of the things I'm looking forward to about starting a new project is going to be being able to restart from the beginning and have code that is not a jumbled mess of things just being put everywhere. That's one of the big things I'm going to be doing with my next project is going to be just figuring a lot of things out more thoroughly. Here we go. Here's what I'm looking for. But having more smartly made code, because there's a lot of little tips and tricks I've learned to make the coding a lot smoother looking. Okay, so we had IA X-ray. So now if we hit X, it should work exactly as intended. And if we go to controls, we now have X-ray, so we can rebind that. Say we set that to L, and then we hit L. Bada bing, bada boom. Works exactly as intended, because I am a coding genius and definitely did not just take this rebinding system, well, bought this rebinding system with money instead of spending time figuring out how to make it myself. Might need to make it stupid and convenient. Do you know what your next project would be? I do. I will probably not share any details of that yet. I would prefer to have something good to showcase first. But it's not a Void Collector sequel. It would be something entirely different. That is most likely what I'll be working on next. Just to quell any of that now, because I know I've talked about how I like. I've got a lot of ideas for a Void Collector sequel, and that's very much true. But I think that I want to make sure that when I get around to making that it's really good, and feels like a substantial upgrade over this one. So I want to have some time and other projects in between. So that way, when I come back to Void Collector, it'll be, you know, with a new fresh set of eyes and more experience and stuff, so it can truly shine, you know, that sort of thing. Anyways, I'm rambling. So that looks like a Windows pipe screensaver. That's yeah, that's not far off. Working on an animated series with a few people. Cool. Good luck with that. Hey, Picklebeemu and Sand. Scott here. What did I miss? Not much. Other than release date, 26th of April. Not of this month, because that's in 3 days. And just doing some polished stuff, like adding reworking how the X-ray looks and adding it to the bindings menu. Okay, so now we can go ahead and you can't see this. I'm saving this for myself because this is not for public consumption. But I can move from high priority left to do. I've got a list of things that I want to add to the game or finish in high priority, medium priority, and low priority. One of those was to fix the X-ray button. That is now done. Moving that down to the completed section. Okay, so next thing I think that I would like to do. Let's see. Okay, so one relatively simple thing we can do here is go to one of these levels. Go. Okay, so let's go to one of the tutorials, because I saw a Steam review that I thought was very funny, but did point out an interesting issue. So the review was saying that probably their biggest issue with the game was that there was no... When they played the Steam demo, was that there was no way to just reset after you'd enter a level, which is not true. We've got the instant reset button, and I did add this to the pause menu as well. This was not there in the Steam demo, but you can just reset from the pause menu as well. But the problem is that this player did not realize that this was an option. And I had a friend who played the demo, and he realized that there was a reset button, but the only reason that he figured it out is because he went to the pause bindings menu, because he was thinking that there's no way that Seth wouldn't add a quick restart, because he knew I would get annoyed at it if I didn't have a quick reset. So one of the things we need to do is make sure that it's more clear to players that there is, in fact, a quick reset button. So probably the best way to do this is something relatively simple. Like what I did here is I just added this little section where it tells you what the ranks are. So we can do the same, like here, for instance. We could add like a section here that's like, hey, by the way, if you want to reset, press press M to do a quick reset. Although maybe I should put that more towards the beginning of a level, now that I think about it, because I'm picturing the player experience where, like imagine it like this, right? If you are playing through a level, and then you get to the end and it says, by the way, you can press this button to quick reset. A lot of players might just instinctively be like, oh, well, let me press the button without even like reading what it does, and then get reset and then get annoyed. So maybe right here at the beginning of the enemy level, the enemy tutorial could be a good spot for it. Like if we grab text, called it floating text. There we go. Pull you out from the wall a little bit. I'm gonna say press N to restart level. And just hang that above the door. Probably scale you up a little bit. Scoot it over a little. Yeah, sure, whatever. That'll do. Good enough. Doesn't gotta be anything too complicated. Okay, next thing that I want to do, because the rest of the things I've got are a little bit more complicated. So, okay, I think one of the things I want to do is add the... Because assist mode and difficulties are not preserved in between game instances, and I think that is something I would like to implement. So if you start the game up, change the difficulty, or switch from assisted mode to standard mode, it won't recognize that in between when you close the game and reopen it. So you have to reset your assist mode and difficulty every time, which I can understand being a little annoying, especially for assisted. I think difficulty is fine if it doesn't reload you, because it is kind of built in a way where you, like, it is sort of intended where you would pick whatever difficulty you're feeling at the time, because it's pretty loose which one you're playing as. But I can get that implemented and see if that, you know, if that ends up being a welcome feature or not. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that set up so that way it'll properly save and load your setting. So what we're gonna need to do is grab the save game, which I'd call the speedrun time save, and then we'll go to the instance, game instance, yep, right here, the VC game instance. So the game instance is essentially the current, a place you can access from anywhere that is a current value that has a bunch of things loaded that you can access at any given time, which is really convenient. It lets you access a lot of things, and this is generally where you would want to move things to save them and then transfer them over to your actual save game. Pretty simple. So what I'm thinking we want to do is have something in... Let's see, where do we want to put that, actually? Because I did kind of do this in a convoluted way where it's sort of janky. It's not too bad. A lot of the stuff is from the settings plugin I have, which makes things easier, but it looks a little messy, but it works really nicely. Let's see, so we do have Unreasonable already in relaxed or unreasonable difficulty. We've got that tracked pretty effectively. Why did the playlist stop? It's so annoying that YouTube does that. It'll just like pick a song and then the playlist will cease. Okay, anyways, usually what we'll do is when we save the game, it'll load the previous save, cast to our save, and then it will set all of the variables for the current thing from the past one. And then it will save the game again. Whereas if we load, it's pretty simple, we just load the game, and then we set all of the current variables to what they should be. I don't think I explained that in a way that made any sense. Basically, you've got, like, let's say we were just trying to save a number, it's the number 4 or whatever, but its default value is 0. So you play the game or whatever, you do objectives, and you get your number up to 4. And then you save the game, you want to come back to it. So you save the game, it stores the number as 4 in the memory as a separate variable, and then when you load the game, it reaccesses that 4 from the separate thing, and then pulls it back in. That's what I'm trying to say. So what we need to do is have a way to track what the player's difficulty is, and then re-access that from here, and then set that automatically when the player does something. Could you turn the volume of the music a bit, please? Sure. Do that. Let me know if that is good. I know that song is a little loud. Just specifically that song is a little bit loud. I do gotta remember it's a little more quiet on my end, I think. Well, it maybe is. It's a little hard to tell with OBS sometimes because it's not a one-to-one thing. Anyways, so we've got unreasonable, we've got relaxed. So if we can just trying to think what's gonna be the most efficient way to do this. Good. Okay. Cool. Anyways, as I was saying, trying to find the most efficient way we can do this. Let me move my light a little bit. It's kind of blocking my monitor here. There we go. So we've already got all these variables in place to track relaxed, unreasonable, and assisted. So what we need to do is add these to... Yeah, we need to add these variables to the save file. So we call these unreasonable, unreasonable, relaxed, and assisted. That's not how you spell that. Assisted. Oh, I just saved over the same thing. Whatever. Relaxed. There we go. Okay, so then what it will do is when we save the game, we'll get assisted, and then... Yeah, okay. We will set assisted, set unreasonable, and set relaxed. So we'll plug it in like so. And then this will be pretty simple. We'll just get the current value of that and then save that as whatever we're working with. So this way it'll ensure that we have the same thing. When you close it and reopen it, it'll be the same variable. It'll be the same state. Let's get relaxed. So that way those will all be consistent. And then we want to load. Then what we got to do is set relaxed, set unreasonable, set assisted, and then from the speedrun time save, we're going to get relaxed, get unreasonable, and get assisted. So then it will set all of those variables as such. Like so. Okay. Now, I'm assuming there's probably still going to be a little bit more work that I need to do on that to get that fully functional. Let's just go set assisted. So now we've got the weapon wheel. And then if we close it, reopen it, yeah, we do not have the weapon wheel. Okay. So, let's see. Let's figure out where exactly we need to add that. Because it's been a while since I've coded this, so I need to remember this. Trying to tell myself I understand any of this coding stuff you're doing, but I absolutely do not. Don't worry, I barely do myself. We'll do some more less incomprehensible stuff a little bit later. Just woke up, so watching the start of the stream on 1.75 speed. Oh, that's funny. Supposed to wear a silly hat this stream. Oh yeah, you did donate $20 for that. Okay, I do have a silly hat. I went on vacation to Florida last week, and I did buy a new hat. I don't know if it's super silly, but it's the silliest I got, and we'll make it work. We'll put it on top of the headphones. So I think that'll complement it. Oh shit. Okay, we're good. This is gonna keep sliding off and annoying me, but we're putting up with it. This is what it's all about. Shit. I've never actually played a computer game before, so naturally I am bad at VC. Sometimes I ask myself why I don't play on easy mode. The answer is I'm scared of Yellow Bee. That's very funny. Support VC unconditionally, even though I don't own a PC and can't play it. Appreciate the support. Glad you guys appreciate the silly hat. I think the silly part is going to be that it keeps falling off my dang head the entire stream. Okay, so the saving part. So we've saved the variable. We saved that, we load that, we're good. We are all Gouda. So first thing we're going to do is make sure that it is properly being saved. So we'll get unreasonable. We'll just use we use assisted as our reference point. So we'll get assisted, and then put that in there. So it's saying false. Assisted is not true. And if we go back to the hub, then if we go here, set it to assisted, then see assisted is true. Then if we reset, then assisted is false. Oh, I know what's happening there. Okay. So what we need to do is from the places where we set the difficulty and the assist, we need to have it so that way that actually saves the game. Yeah, that's what we need to do. So if we go to, it should be blueprints, HUD, diff select, and control select. So when on clicked one of these, then we'll not only do an assist check, we will, as the game instance, we will save game. So plug that in there. And right here, we will also save the game. So that way, it should actually persist your changes throughout saves. Okay, so we return back to the hub area. I always get lost which direction I'm facing. So set it to assisted. So we got this going. Then if we close and reopen, look at that. Now it saves properly. And then let's do a check with difficulty as well. So if we go to difficulty, set it to unreasonable, close the game, reopen it. Okay, so it saved assist, but it did not save difficulty selection. Oh, because it did. Okay, I just didn't apply it to this one. Yeah, I'm gonna need to set that up so that it does that save, no matter what button you press. Yeah. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. So we just do one of these, one of those. So we do that on relaxed, on prepared, assist normal. Oh yeah, that was back when that used to be something different. Construct, exit level button. Does that work? I think that works. So we're on unreasonable. Shit. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Why am I stupid? Why am I a fool? Because on difficulty select, it's doing that for the relaxed one. It's doing that for the prepared one. Where is the unreasonable one? Where did I put that? Oh, exit. Why is it called exit level button? What kind of moron name did that? That's not what it is. Why is it called exit level button? That's unreasonable. Shit. Unreasonable button. There we go. My old naming scheme coming back to bite me in the ass. Or rather, my laziness of not wanting to fix things. Okay, so we run back, we change our difficulty to unreasonable, reset the game. Look at that, it saves properly. Okay, now we gotta make sure that it will save all of these correctly. So we're on assisted unreasonable. Let's go to manual relaxed. Manual relaxed, yep, the weapon wheel's not coming up. So then we go to prepared. Bada bing, bada boom, look at that. Now it saves your difficulty and your assist mode or manual mode, your control scheme, between saves. We are in business. Just realized it's there. Why is there a power indicator up there? That'll be... I'll figure that system out a little bit more concretely, but basically the gist is that to beat... actually, you know, there's an element that I sort of hid from the map that I can bring back up. Go to the hub level. This guy will need a tutorial float. Where is this? Whoop! Ignore that. Ignore that little Easter egg guy. Okay. So what this is, it'll be a floating like question mark thing, where if you walk into it, it'll say, yeah, beat levels to accumulate 25 void power. Won't say exactly that, but the idea is that by beating enough levels, you accumulate void power, which will charge this thing up, which you use to pierce into this bit here to go access the final set of levels. Because right now they're just sitting out here, so that way playtesters have a way to access all of the stages. But yeah, this will all be part of the system that leads into how you access the final area. Yo, what is this? When are you gonna add emotes? Hey, Alec, how's it going? Ignore my funny hat. Maybe VC doesn't come out on the 26th. 26 divided by 26 is 1. Yeah, and this is definitely not coming out on April 1st. I do not, I would crumple into dust and turn into bones. I have a very helpful suggestion. At one point, I remember there being a typo or misspelling, but I can't remember where. Alright, thank you. Very helpful. I will show off all of the, well, I will go through all of the text. Yep. Put that back on. You know, let's go ahead and fix this guy right here. So we'll go to props, or interactable, level stuff. So we're gonna grab the, which I think it's in tutorials. So we grab the tutorial text. We're gonna make a duplicate of that and rename you to BP question mark. So this basically functions exactly like the other bits where you will walk into them and then it'll make text appear on your screens. That way it can more naturally give you a tutorial without interrupting the flow of things. So if we open up our BP question mark, we're going to add in a flip book. That's how you spell flip book. Flip book. There we go. I'm going to set you to question mark. Shrink it on down. And yeah, look at that. I already got a rotating movement component set up. So there you go. So you walk into this, and then it'll display some text, which in our case will be collect void. Sure, what I'll leave that. Power Lamau. So we'll figure out what we actually want to put there later. Did you show us the Wood Court Arena? Yeah, I can show you a little bit. And all levels have unique skyboxes. Not technically all of them, most of them though. There's some stages that still need one. Okay, I see your message, Crimson Art. I'm not ignoring you. I want to think on that a little bit, but I will respond to that. Yeah, so this is the arena. I'll show a little bit. I want to kind of let this one be also one you experience the game for, but it is a boss rush. So you got all the bosses here, all the mini bosses. Okay, yeah. So I think I've got something for that advice. Because it is difficult oftentimes to stick to a project, and feel yourself making progress. And oftentimes there is progress, even if it doesn't feel like there is. And this is something that was hard for me for a while, because I think people can kind of like get a false impression of like me as a developer from just this. Because I think making all this in a year is pretty fast, but the only reason I was able to make anything near this scope in a year is because there are summers that I've spent making games where I've had basically nothing to show for it. There's been times when I'd spend a shit ton of time on an idea and then end up not really liking it anymore, and then not end up actually finishing it. I've been in a similar boat, is what I'm saying. What are you blinking for all the time? That's a weird bug. I'll have to fix whatever that's causing that. But the only reason that Void Collector has been able to be made in as efficient of a manner as it's been is because of all the failures I've had, and all the times I've spent not making stuff when I'm trying to make something. So I'd say don't get discouraged by being unable to make a ton of progress. That's just kind of a natural part of it. Because a lot of the really valuable stuff you'll learn, it might not be very fun to learn, but figuring out all the things that don't work, figuring out what makes for your best work schedules, what's going to keep you the most productive, ways to keep yourself engaged and excited to keep working on something. It's all very personal, to be sure. It's hard, and I want to say again, it's very difficult, but I would mainly want to say to not be discouraged, that is a super normal part of making stuff. Especially with something as complicated as a game, it can be really hard to see that progress early on. But that is a totally normal thing. Any developer goes through it. But you got to be patient. You got to stick through it, and learn to find the satisfaction in the little moments of progress here and there. Like the first month of Void Collector's development was basically just making the hand system work, and that was it. Like that took a whole month. And oftentimes the beginning is kind of the slowest part when you're still figuring a lot of that stuff out. So it's all normal. The tutorial region has Deco now? It does. Make me feel better? Glad to hear it. That's actually something I was thinking about, is that some people kind of can get a false impression, I think, when they like, this is just a normal thing, I guess, but it's like you see an artist and you're like, oh man, how did they ever get that far? And like, obviously I've got so much more room to go upwards. Like this is not exactly a AAA looking experience here, right? But I made things that were pretty bad in the past, When I was 13, 12, whatever, I was making pretty crappy Scratch games and RPG Maker games that were pretty dog, to be sure. Whatever. I think I'm rambling now, but that's the short of it. There's a lot of progress, a lot of process. You gotta be willing to take your time and learn what does and doesn't work. Anyways, one thing I was wanting to do is this hat is grabbing me up the wall. Whatever. So one other thing I was wanting to do is if we go to the status menu, one thing I was considering is adding in some sort of an indicator for if you have assist mode on or not. So I think we'll draw a custom sprite for this, but for now, what I'll do is I'll just get an image, and we'll just we'll put that like maybe down here. And for now, we'll just use the mediocre mini as a placeholder. And we'll call this assist icon. And what we can do with this guy is very simple. So if we go to event construct, we can get game instance. There we go. And we'll run a branch out of here, and assist get what are you doing? Why are you not giving me assisted? Get VC. Oh, cast to VC game instance. Yeah, forgot that step. And then here is where we plug in get game instance. There we go. And then from here, we say get assisted. And then if assisted is true, then assist icon, set visibility to visible. And if it is, put that right there. And if it is false, then we'll set that to hidden. Really simple, very, very easy code. We'll set that to be hidden by default. So it's not there. And then if we turn on assisted, then it's okay. It doesn't end up showing up unless we do a reload. Let's see. So how do we want to fix that, I wonder? We could set up an event here. So we go to HUD status. So if we grab all these elements and pull them back a little bit, set up a new custom event, call that assist icon check. Plug that in there. Then if we go to the let's go to the assist select. Yes, once we do this, once we select something, no, not that, we need the menu. Go to blueprints, HUD, control select, that's what it's called. Control select and control select intro. There we go. So grab the assisted one, and then, actually we want that off either of these. We will do as first person character. We will get status HUD ref. And we will do assist icon check. And we just plug that in as well for this one, which is the same thing. It just shows up when you play the game for the first time. We can just hook that up here, like so. So we got assist on, so it works like that. Then we set to manual. Okay, that didn't work. Well, shoot. I don't know why that didn't. Whoa, gosh. Okay, well, I think we found what the issue is. Never mind. I think it says to put a level editor. Guys, listen, I would like to add one. All right, it's lower on the priority. Gotta finish the game first. I suppose there aren't many people watching the stream despite the fact that it's a Sunday. I think people are just usually up on Saturdays mostly. So the fans of time travel. It's true. You should give Bouncer a silly hat. Perhaps. Playlist says bad old games. I do kind of want to. I don't know how many of them are left up, but I would like to see if there's things that are left. If there's any I didn't delete out of embarrassment. Thoughts on Steam Workshop support? Want to have it. Would like to add it. Let's see. So what's the issue here? Access none, trying to read property as BP first person character. Okay. And that is... Okay. So it's not getting as first person character. Oh yeah, because it doesn't create the first person character at all. What the heck? Why doesn't it do that? Just to BP first person character. Get player pawn. Not to variable. Bada bing, bada boom. And we'll just do the same thing here. Oh, not to variable. Oh, we'll get rid of you. We got our new one we've just set up. Plug that guy in. And do the same thing here, where we'll use our newly made reference instead. Get that all running. Okay, so we do not have the assist icon on. We go here. Now we do have the assist icon. Bada bing. Bada boom. So we do assist unreasonable. Close the game. Reopen it. Now it preserves all your stuff. It's even got a little icon to let you know if you're playing on assisted or not. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that. Everything is working. I'm a good game developer. I know what I'm doing. I'm not a moron. I swear to God. Okay, now for something that might be a little more exciting. Now we got a lot of the small, easy stuff out of the way. We got some bigger fish to fry. And that is going to be polishing and tweaking the Void Core levels. Mostly 1 and 2 are the ones that I think are going to need it the most. So I've added some props in. But what I also really want to do is go through, polish, refine, give everything a bit more of a thorough play test, see how things are feeling, expand on things if we need to, and then add more props and stuff. Because I've already got a decent chunk of them in, but it's not enough. We need more. Maybe. We'll see. So this level is pretty simple. Has these guys, who actually, now that I think about it, I need to fix their code. That's something else we can do, because these guys are a little broken. What they're supposed to do is when the player gets within their radius, they bounce up and then start bouncing at them. But I think that it uses the player's like camera rotation angle instead of, yeah, it uses the rotation angle between the player and the camera instead of just like, it's hard to describe, but I coded them stupidly and they don't really work all that good. They're pretty dumb. Their brains are small, you see. So this is bad at math, don't ask him. It's true. But does every placeholder have Lamau in it? No, I just use Lamau because I'm trying to not just say I'm stupid, but I think that is the reason. I think that's the best I got. Yeah, so it's using the player's camera rotation, which isn't really what we need. We kind of just want to get like capsule component. Maybe? Yeah, because then that won't be as affected by the weirdness. Oh, right, because he uses that. No, I think he's still bugged. I think we're gonna need to rewrite his code fundamentally. What is PP about? Oh yeah, that's from the. Yeah. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about this either. Don't worry about this either. Don't worry about any of that. Just ignore it. You didn't see any of that. Just out of your mind. Okay, so what we need to do is pretty simple. So when this guy lands, he will set his rotation to be looking at the player, and then he will bounce at the player. That's really simple. That's it. Now the problem is, problem is he doesn't really do that. So what we're gonna do is cheat and just use this basically. Well, we don't need exactly this. Again, credit to Anstrar. But what this does is basically give us a more easy way of detecting like a line where something is. Although, you know what? I think we can actually do it easier than that. I don't even know if we gotta do anything that complicated. So all we gotta do is get one guy to look at another guy when it lands, which should be simple, but I'm blanking. Shouldn't you make a darker texture for the interior red floor texture for 1 Millionaire? I mean, like on the stairs? I guess you're right. Yeah, I could just use like a darker red instead of using that. Yeah, not a bad thought. Dare I say, a good thought. There's a lot of little polish things like this. This does like the little firing animation, even when like you don't have charge to shoot. You know what, this is gonna, I just realized this is gonna turn into another, like, long, convoluted math problem that is not actually that difficult, but I'm dumb, so we'll get to that one later. We'll put that one off for a later Seth's issue, perhaps. Okay, first thing we're gonna do, quick polish detail. We're gonna go to BP weapon. Yeah, just weapon. Should we want that to be weapon or hand? What do I call it? Weapons? HUD hand. HUD weapon. HUD weapon. There we go. Okay, so this is a disaster of code. I'll fully admit that this is one of the parts that needs to be made not stupid. Yeah, okay, so this is what we're looking for. This is where it does the like birds little effect. But yeah, we don't want this to do anything if the variable is not high enough. So if we say special or get special, meter? Detonator meter, that's right. Because it used to just be the detonator, it didn't used to be the special meter. If that equals 100, if that is true, then it will play the animation, otherwise it will not. Actually, you know what, we can, instead of doing that there, we can do it right here at the beginning of the bird shoot. So if it is equal to 100, then it will work as it should. So it's bop. Nope. Well, the meter should be set to 100. So I don't know why it didn't do anything there. Detonator meter is equal to 100. Here, we'll do a little print string here. We'll say Baba Boo, Baba Boy, if it's false. I'm assuming it's gonna do, yeah, it's Baba Boy. Okay, so why is that not true? Because it should be equal to 100. I mean, we could just do greater equal 100. Maybe that's the issue? Is that it's like slightly over? No, it's perpetually false. It's weird. Let's do a little print string real quick, and then we'll get detonator meter. Plug that into the in string. So that way we'll just be constantly getting bombarded with how much our meter is. Now it's at 100. Okay, so for some reason, for whatever reason, this is 100, but it's not recognizing that. So if detonator meter is greater than or equal to 100, which it is, if it's true, then it does the whole shoot effect. Why are you not working? What is your problem? What is your deal, video game? Why does the first Void Collector stream have 2.1k views? It's normally high. I have no clue. Genuinely no clue. Were the cells eaten by VC? Were they always in there? They got eaten and then turned into cells. Just letting that Slutmo beat you to death? I don't even remember what that was in reference to. But yeah, sometimes I'm just like standing there thinking while I get murdered. VC would make for a perfect roguelike. That would be fun. I think roguelike is something I would really be interested in making at some point. Don't know if it'd be VC or some other property, but I think roguelike's really cool. It's just, I would want to make one that doesn't feel too, like, redundant, because I think that sort of sector is getting a little overcrowded, you know? There's so many, like, cool roguelikes out there. And I kind of instinctively would want to do something a little bit more niche, you know? I mean, not that making a first-person shooter is particularly niche. Maybe I think you get what I'm trying to say. Okay, so for some stupid reason, it will not recognize the meter as being full, but it definitely is distinctly full. What do we just say, like 99? It's like, what, close enough. No. What if we do just put it on the bird effect? This shouldn't do anything different, right? Like, this should just be exactly the same. I would imagine so. Yeah. Why is it not? So we clearly can see that the meter is high enough. How about it just prints the current amount of meter? when we shoot. Yeah, so it says 0. It's returning 0. For some reason, when it starts out, it thinks it's 0. What if we let it fully refill? Oh, is it because it starts out at 0, maybe? Somewhere? No, it's just... It keeps seeing it's 0. Oh, okay. I see what's happening. I see what is happening. Okay. So, what's going on there is... Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. So what happens is when you shoot, it sets the detonator meter to 0, so that way you cannot continue to shoot it. And then by the time it gets to here, it's already been set to 0. So even though it lets you shoot, it's already set to exactly 0. So if we say equals 0 and exactly 0, then we can let it do the shoot. Because the only time it'll actually be equal to... Yeah, the only time it'll be equal to 0 exactly is when you've done the big shoot. Because it'll be instantly set back up. Like, you couldn't do, like, this. And then, I guess maybe you could, like, do that. No. Because there's basically, like, no window where that would be set to 0. Because it'll instantly start refilling. So it'll, yeah. Let's go, baby. BCX Voidigo collab? What's Voidigo? Voidigo. Yeah, I don't know what this is. It's like a top-down, I would assume, roguelite kind of game. I like the art style. Art style's kind of weird. This like bird creature's got an interesting design. Okay. So, anyways. The main thing we're doing here is we're making this place look a little bit more fancy. We're gonna add more props, more background details. You know, keep it all interesting looking. So one thing I would like to add a couple more of here are these spiky pillars. So that's not the right texture. So let's set that to all with an angle, wood wall. There we go. So we'll add a couple of spires here and there. Because I think the immediate area is pretty well populated, or populated, but we need to add more stuff to the distant backgrounds to make them feel a little bit more alive, a little bit more fleshed out, you know. So we can add another one of these guys, probably put them over here, scale it up a little bit so it's nice and different from the other one, give it a bit of a rotation. See, let's briefly double check the sightline on the snowman guy. It is a little hard to see, I think. So maybe we should move it so that way the giant snowman's sitting right here instead, so that way you can actually see him. And then we can move this out a little bit to give him room. Maybe give that a bit of rotation as well. Reset your rotation to 0, 0, 0. Then pull you over and in a little bit. A little more rotation on, so that way you look more natural. Then grab you, rotation. Rotation so you're sticking into the death plane there. To turn off the snap rotation, we want something a little bit more subtle. There we go. Then we grab our big snowman fella. Let's drag you out. Snowman does look really weird from, like, specifically just above. You start to see, like, the outline effect showing up on like, different parts of him. So let's pull you back. There we go. You know what? I think we even make him a little bigger. Then pull him back out a little more. Yeah, I like that, I like that. Now this guy is being blocked off, so we'll move this a little bit more over to the side. So now when you step out, you get to see the big old snowman looming over you, glowering at you. Nice fun little visual thing there. Actually, one thing I'm curious about, I've never tested. Okay, so that is a pretty powerful combo on these guys too, because it does just take them out in one. We'll see if maybe we don't tweak some values there a little bit, because they might be a little bit strong against those guys specifically, but, you know, I'm not against having strong counterplay and good options, you know? We're all for that here. I do need to change some of the textures up in here, actually. And we'll go ahead and do that now. Because I've introduced some texture changes. So if we go to, if we hit Control 5, or Shift F5, it's just F5, we can add 2 new materials here, which we'll name Clock Floor and Clock Floor Dark. So what we're going to do is grab all of these floors, set these to our newly made clock floor, which actually we can save the slopes for a little bit later. So that these to clock floor, then assign active material, and then grab the slopes, set those to clock floor dark. So that way it just gives everything a little bit better contrast. Makes everything read a little bit more cleanly, in my opinion. Yeah. And then we'll grab these guys out here. These will also be clock floor dark. And then the flat surfaces up here will be the lighter version. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think that that reads a little bit more nicely. And I think the purple's a nice complement to the blue of the accent bits there, without being overpowering or taking away from the bright reds. I think that works out pretty nicely. Although one thing I just realized I would like to actually change is the materials. Let's get you. You should also be clock accent, and you should also be clock accent. Yeah, that works. What if one of those spires was holding the entrance room up? I don't think that's a dumb idea. I think it's a good idea. Any new music for the game? You know what? Let me check, actually. Hold on. Hold. I'm waiting. Okay, okay. No, not yet. But it should be soon. New music should be soon. Make a solve that is beautiful and red and doesn't deal damage. Blue guy that sends airstrikes. Green shotgun guy. Yellow cube. You guys got a lot of good ideas here. If only I had come up with these myself. I think what I will do, actually, instead of one of the spires, is we'll do one of these guys. Like that. Now it looks like it's being supported. That was a good suggestion. I like that idea. And you know what? I think we will add a spire. You know, let's use an icy spire. I only have one of those right here. So use an ice spire. And then prop that up. That one looks all precarious, which I think is kind of fun. Yeah, so this one looks a little more grounded. This one looks kind of comically grounded, but I think that works pretty well for our purposes. There are a couple things that I would really like to work on. Some of you might recall kind of an annoying issue that the game has had for a while is if you walk up against a slope, it kind of like slow you down. But it doesn't do that anymore. But the setting I enabled to make this work does kind of cause you to jank out a little bit weirdly if you try to like jump up slopes. As you can see, like the camera kind of jumps up and down a little bit there. Now, you couldn't really jump up slopes anyways, but I would kind of like to get a better interaction. So, like, if you're walking up a slope, jumps would be sending you slightly higher upwards, just so you don't have this weird kind of stuttery feeling. And maybe that would be just, like, giving the game quasi-surf mechanics, just so you can, like, move up slopes a little bit more naturally. Should a dumb guy with glasses and a brain in a glass case that makes your brain explode? I just realized that thing's inspired by something in neon white. Fun fact, I didn't actually, like, that was not intentional, and then I watched some footage of somebody playing Neon White afterwards, and I was like, oh wait, that's 100% the same thing. So I played Neon White before I made Brainbuster, to clarify. But I think I just accidentally made the design basically the same thing without even thinking about it. Oops. Was Sever still called Sever before she died? No. Did you play all the current tracks in the game as background music? I want to wait till I have all of them in as orchestrated versions, because we've got the World 3 and 4 songs are done. World 5 songs, all the game's music is done, but they're not orchestrated yet. And I think that'll make them... they're really good compositionally right now, but they are not fully there in terms of the sound, because we just need to get the final instruments in. And I want to save showing those off till we've got all the instruments in. I think it'll do them more justice to wait till they're cooked, you know. Out of respect to my composer, you know, I think he deserves to have his stuff heard in the best context, because he's a very talented fella. Okay, so I had a couple extra props, doodads, doohickeys, and whatnots, and things of that nature and sort around here to make this place feel just that little bit more fleshed out. You know, add some stuff to the backgrounds, make it feel a little bit larger than it actually is. I think we need something maybe over here, over here, over here. Just one extra kind of like ring of things around the area to make it feel a little bit more whole, a little more complete. But what should that be? What should that be? Yeah, fuck you, big Gunther. I'm thinking. I'm pondering. I'm conundruming. Yeah. So we could just go to... Let's go to the train yard, because there's some other props there that I've not ended up using in the other levels, or in this level specifically, which is mainly the surf shop, billboard, and sandcastle. I think we'll add the billboard for sure, and the surf shop. I like these two. Yeah, we'll bring these guys over. To go back to Void Core, go to Core 1, got these guys in. Start with the surf shop. Drag it on over. And these will be further in the background, just to give the level a better sense of scope and scale and whatnot. I think this one's actually not in too bad of a spot already, but I think we'll pull it back a little further. Ideally, we want this one to be kind of visible, like right here. So maybe we pull you back a little bit, pull you over a little bit, so everything kind of like lines up from that angle. Yeah, that looks good. That's a good composition there. Okay, so we'll set you to, say, Slapmo hat. What do I call it? Yes, okay, just call it Slapmo hat spray. Slapmo's hat, not for sale. Okay, cool. Let's see, I think maybe one thing here will be good. Let's see, we only use one of these guys, so we can add another one over there. And then, we don't have any clock towers, do we? Yeah, we could add a mini clock tower. And we'll make this guy fairly far out and fairly big. Yeah. Okay, so then we're gonna go to time of demise 1. I guess I don't really have a lot of outdoor props for this level because you can't see them. Okay, and then yeah, we'll add it right around here. So we'll drag it on over. Keep it, again, kind of far in the distance to make it feel nice and large, but we'll shrink it down a bit so it's not bigger than the actual one you're traveling around on. And sink it into the floor. Get a little rotation. Maybe even make it a little bigger. A little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, now the stage still feels a little bit more put together. Holy shit, it's Jimmy Double. No way. When did the bit of Jimmy Double not existing start? I have no clue. Maybe biased, I think Seth should have a Jimmy Double billboard. That's actually, that's true, because I added the billboards and stuff before Jimmy was real. So, you know, that's not... I could do it. I could do that. One thing that's kind of weird is that this part's all out of whack. These textures don't seem to like really want to line up correctly on this. Like even when I delete them and remake them, it just kind of keeps ending up being all like warped and wonky. It's really strange. I don't know how to fix that. But we will figure out a way. You hear me now. Yeah, this level definitely needs some props. This is one that I don't know if you guys can tell, but right before I went on vacation, I was super tired. I was not sleeping very well. I was exhausted. I needed a break. And this is the last level that I did prop design for before I left for vacation, and boy oh boy can you tell. I was just so exhausted of adding things. I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna throw some stuff down and call it a day so it doesn't look too barren. What do we need? We don't have trains, we don't have a lot of stuff, really. Let's see, let's get the snowman. I think we already have the snowman, actually. What do I not have? I don't think I have the train. I don't have the train, and I don't have the train, surf shot, billboard. Yeah, I don't have train, surf shot, billboard. So we'll grab these fellas and then get them in. Then we'll just continue decorating. Nope, didn't bring the surf shop logo with it. I'll tack that on later. You know what? We'll make this guy a green surf shop. Up. Yeah, and then we'll space some of these other elements out more to let him breathe. Just to, because this level is already kind of compact, so no need to make it feel more so, you know. Yep. Yep. Yeah, there we go. Then we'll grab the billboard. I think maybe right here would be a decent spot for it. Yeah, because you could probably see it from up here. That's kind of what I'm thinking with it. So if we extend it upwards... Nah, that's not really going to work because it's kind of just being blocked there. So if we just pull it over here instead, I think that'll work. And then let's go with the Sheila shoes. What do I call it? Sheila shoes? Sheila shoe. There we go. I think I misspelled the sprite name. Dude, she just floats everywhere. Okay, so yeah, now you can see the billboard as you're flinging yourself around. Then I think to complement this section a little bit more, because there's kind of some empty space around here, we will grab one of these ice spires, one of these pokey bits. Give you a little rotation, make you a bit taller. Then grab this one. I think the playlist broke again. No, it did not. It is looping though, which is whatever. It's fine. We've, you know, whatever. So set up a little mini mountain range here. Then, you know what, I think for a little bit of extra dimension, we will pull some of these back a little bit. Yeah. Then give you a bit of rotation, give you a bit of rotation, and then pull everything in together So that way it all lines up. Yeah. There. Now that section feels quite a bit less empty looking. Hit him, Seth, please. Okay. I'm dead as hell. Meme is a disease, it's true. Idea reference to the gravitational pull of Pepsi that only appears in the back of billboards. That is certainly a reference. I don't know how many people would get it, but it is a reference. How do you spell Sheila? Because I think even you don't know. No, it's Sheila. It's this. I do get it wrong constantly because it's Sheila and Shield, which is spelled very similarly, but the E and the I are switched. So like this is it. This is the Sheila, but it's IE, which is convoluted. Sheila's Dibley has an attack animation now. He does. Yeah, I got around to adding that. Can't wait for the Seth Newland wiki. Can't wait for Seth Newland release. Can't wait for Seth Newland collector. I'm just seeing. I'm seeing 3 orange Seth Newlands in the chat, and it's pissing me off. I'm angry. I'm joking, by the way. I'm not actually upset. I'm furious. Okay, one thing we're gonna do though that I just realized I forgot to do. Did I do the core one? I did not, did I? No, I didn't. Okay. Quick thing we're gonna do. We're gonna do this, because I realized I didn't did it. But I did do it to the other snowy levels. Like we go to Slalom 3. I think this level looks a lot better now. Mostly, one, because there's this like kind of cool blizzardy snow now that's like blowing sideways and stuff and bouncing around everywhere. But the buildings now have these blue frames, which I think makes them look a lot better, and also the roofs. So by giving them the brown roofs and the blue frames, I think this color palette comes together way nicer, and these levels look a lot better. So we need to do that to these stages. Although I do need to make sure I actually have a consistent style for this now. I think it's... Okay, yeah, sometimes it connects at the floor, sometimes it does not connect at the floor. I think we will have it connect at the floor because I think that'll look a little bit better. Kind of helps frame things a little bit more nicely. So let's start with this one. So we're going to go into the cube grid and do a pretty simple little bit of addition here. So if we just add a little frame like so. Slow the camera scroll speed down. We're kind of flinging ourselves around here at Mach 10. So we add this little bit of frame. And continue that going up and around. Oops, that's the wrong. That's not the right direction at all. Do the same here. Oops. Just created a block all the way down there on the death plane. Okay, this part's gonna be a little bit trickier. It won't be too bad. Maybe just slightly tedious. I think of a dream I had where you had an evil alter ego called Sap Newland, and he was made of sap. All right, cool. Well, the evil version of me is I don't think anybody noticed because I didn't make a big deal out of it or anything. But when it was Halloween time, I changed my profile name. I don't even think I changed it on this Discord, on the Void Collector Discord. But I changed my profile icon to Robo Seth. So that's my evil alternative is Robo Seth. Definitely not just a stolen Robo Kai from Guilty Gear. Nah, surely, definitely not. I'm really cool and creative and come with all my own ideas. I would never steal. This is a lie. A blatant one, as a matter of fact. Right, we don't want to add that there, we want that here. Yeah, right on the corners there. Kind of just highlights the shape of stuff a little bit more nicely. In case you guys are curious where this song comes from, this is Xeno Arcadia from Hylics 2. It might be a little quiet actually, but this is just my once again reminder to go play Hylics 1 and Hylics 2. Very sick, some of the best looking games ever created, just point blank period. And this is not, whoopsies. This is not a request, this is a demand. I insist upon it that you should play this game because it's super cool. Yeah. Then we can just do that to smoothly match the slope. You know, we'll even make the slope a little less smooth. I remember RoboSeth like it was yesterday. Wish I existed when RoboSeth was real. He'll come back. I remember RoboSeth my entire life. I don't remember anything. RoboSeth was real. I'd unscrew his back panel and steal it. I'll post the RoboSeth image later, actually. Opinions on Factorio. I've not played it. Those types of games aren't usually my jam. But you never know. Haven't played it. Couldn't say anything definitively. Maybe it's really cool. Maybe I'd be into it. Maybe I wouldn't be. I think typically those kinds of like, I'm usually now don't get too shocked when I say this now. I'm usually more interested in games that are super like fast and twitchy. But I do enjoy my slower, more strategic kind of games on occasion. One game I really like that I'm so unbelievably bad at, but I would really like to get better at, is RimWorld. Really cool game. I can't play it for the life of me. Yeah, that's good. I've kind of thought, because I wanna do more like interesting audience interaction stuff. So I was thinking like maybe it'd be fun for like text-to-speech donations or something if like RoboSeth pops up and reads them, because that'd be, you know, TTS. I'd using a text-to-speech to read out messages, so having it be literally just a robot, I think that's a good way to get around it. Okay, now before I forget, I already forgot. The material on this is called Darkwood Accent. Cool, so we go back to Void Core, and then we're going to, whoopsies, get out of here, I don't even know what I selected there. Add a new material called Darkwood Accent. And there we go. So we're going to want to do a little bit of manual selection here. I want to grab this fella. Set this to Snow. Yeah. Oh, and you, I also want you to be Snow. Yeah. And up here, this is also... Nope, that's not Woodwall. Snow. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good with that. I like that. Okay, now we'll go do the same treatment over to this level here. But I think to make this work, we're going to need to slightly extend the amount of space we have to work with. So we'll just add 1, 2 here, 1, 2 here, and we'll just add 1 here. Oh, I forgot that one's, yeah, that one's not quite a square, is it? Yeah, that's a little bit of a weird case, because if I trim that up, you can see the gap there. We'll just make that one slightly taller. It's not like you're really even supposed to see that from this angle. Drag this up. Keep going around the edges. Keep going all the way around. You know, sometimes, like, things will really feel different depending on what mood you're in when you're making something. Like, sometimes when I'm doing, like, props and adding background details and stuff, it's, like, the most infuriating thing ever, but right now it feels kind of nice and chill. You know, it's good, calm, like relatively simple, easy stuff. But there are other times when it's like, this is the last thing I'd want to ever be doing, and it makes me want to tear my hair out. Although mostly that comes in with adding like props and dragging them around to spots. So I usually split that sort of task up over like a couple of days, just because it drives me nuts to no end how long it takes. Especially when I was adding the gears in, because each one I wanted to like manually adjust the rotation of them. So it was just it was such a tedious task. It was, ugh, man, it drove me nuts. I think we'll leave this side open, actually, just for visibility. But we will go up and around the door. This part will be open. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, we'll give the player a little more space to move there. We'll keep that part open as well. It's kind of a constant battle in between cool visual detail and functional gameplay. And as much as the graphic designer inside of my soul wants me to do all in on funny visual stuff, we do gotta worry about the player experience, unfortunately. But we do have the space to put one here. That would bang so hard it would explode. I'm assuming that's talking about the little Robo-Seth. That'd be fun. Donations mentioned, guys. I mean, spend all your life savings to donate. Want to have food? Want you have to donate to Seth. Hey, thanks for the $2, Jimmy Double. Appreciate it. I'm gonna give that a heart and a like. Thank you very much for the $2 dues. Opinions on Repo. It looks funny. I watched a Northern Lion video on it, and I would like to get my friends to play it. It looks fun, but I've not played it myself personally. But I have played the other similar games like it. So I've played a good chunk of Content Warning, Lethal Company. I think that's it. There's probably others that I know of but haven't played. Like I haven't played Phasmophobia. That's like kind of the other one, right? Or no, it's Darkwood Accent. There we go. And then we'll go around doing a little bit of fixing. So places where things overlapped where they shouldn't have, we can just go in there, do a little bit of adjustment. Now that works. That works well enough. We'll just grab these bits here, and then set those to snow. Let's grab the tops of these sections, set those to snow as well. Because these are the parts that would be like visible up to the snow, you know. I need to do a little remeshing on one of these too. That's always the painful part that I think will be much easier once I've fully transitioned over to Blender. Oh, why did I select these? I need to select these. My brain is inverted. This is Darkwood Accent. Okay, so this is the part that's hidden from up here. Yeah. That's what I was going for. Okay, yeah, I think that does add a good little bit there. Anybody donated anything yet? I don't know why. Well, I think the last stream when we had that big influx of donations was like a freak one-off accident. Maybe not accident, but that was, you know, donations are cool. Again, like as I said last time, I appreciate the donations and stuff. I think that is cool. But I'm not doing the streams to earn donations. The streams are because they're fun and I like engaging with the community and stuff and getting live feedback and doing these. How many triangles can you make a square take to render? Many. Many, many, many. Now I can't just do this, I can remesh it. So it's a little more organized and more space efficient. Still a little weird looking. So if we reduce the target triangle count, then you know some parts are still not efficient, like this. We'll probably want to do some more manual remeshing instead of just letting the machine do the remeshing. But like right here, this is fairly efficient. It could be more so, but this isn't like too bad. Especially because the overall rendering cost is not too bad because of how simple they are. I know I think I mentioned it in the Discord, but I don't know if I talked about it here. But I managed to cut down memory usage by about a third, sometimes more, with no spikes at all. Like, it doesn't at all have any more memory spikes, which is, I think, the problem that prevented a lot of people from being able to play the game, is that just the memory spikes would cause it to not work out so well. And the reason the memory spiked so much was just because of texture quality, because there was a lot of the enemy textures specifically that were much higher than they really needed to be. Like, if we look up close to one of these guys, like, yeah, let's just go say hi to Steve up here. Or you know, let's look at, I mean, Steve's kind of the perfect pick. Yeah, let's go say hi to Steve. He looks fine from a distance. You can notice pixelation when you get real up close to him, like, you can sort of see it there. But by lowering his quality down to that point, it's mostly unnoticeable, and doesn't really have a particularly huge visible impact, and I don't really mind a little pixelation. Kind of fits the game's aesthetic, to be honest. Everything's all chunky and blocky and pixely. So, again, not something I think is too big of a deal, and the performance increase I've gotten from that, more than worth it. Yeah. No, not the bug again! I hate that bug. I hate that damn bug. I don't know what causes it. Remember in the Kick the Card Counter level, the starting building had like 1,000 triangles for no reason? I do remember that. Unreal. Funny engine. Funny engine it is. Let me tell ya. Funny engine. Funny guy. Right here. Okay, let's add a couple more background details to this level, just to flesh it out a little bit more. Let's see. So we can add a nice little bit here. Make the background feel a little bit more deep, a little more fleshed out. Yeah. And another one of these guys, a bit further back. And you know what, while I'm doing the fairly simple task of adding some props and background details and stuff, I wanted to once again sort of reiterate one of the questions that I've asked before. Because I saw a video that was talking about how, like, a lot of channels when they're young will kind of misunderstand their appeal. And I guess I don't really know exactly what the appeal is. I'm assuming it's that people like seeing the game, they like seeing a game, and they like seeing the gradual progress being made on it, but I wanted to confirm with the audience that is, I assume, what you guys enjoy about the videos. I think the streams are kind of a different thing. Again, part of the experience is seeing the game get made. I think that's kind of I assume that's kind of the main draw, I would assume. But I am trying to shift slightly more into inserting my personality into stuff. Because I think with the videos especially, I've kind of kept my personality out of them for the most part. And I don't think that was really a good decision. I think having more bits of, like, more authentic inclusion would make the videos more interesting and more, genuinely just more interesting and better. And the streams, you know, again, I think it's cool when people show up. But, you know, it's like whatever. I'm not trying to get a bajillion million viewers on streams. These are, again, for fun. But the videos are for marketing. Videos I want to make money. Mostly off redirecting people towards the Steam page. I will donate a relatively substantial amount of cash if you listen to my 000 or 009 Beast. Okay, that was the Weezer color suggestion, wasn't it? Yeah, so what do you want me to do specifically? Because you gotta be specific. And I'm not saying the answer is a no. I could change like this to that. But you're gonna have to, like, you know, is that good enough? Because I can do that. I'll do that for you. Like, we could go to the Windmill Blades. Windmill Blades would be a good pick, actually. I think that blue would be a pretty nice color contrast. So if you go to MI Blades, it does have the warp. Let's set it to Flamey, so we have a more loose color to work with. And then we, what hex? There we go. I mean, there you go. There's your color. Actually, it looks pretty nice. I think I might actually like that more than the other light blue I was using. There you go. Job done. Oh, it's because the game is cool? Yeah, I kind of assumed that was the main thing. Like the videos for seeing game progress, pretty nice if the videos have more personality, as you said. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The videos themselves are kind of dry. They're mostly just like, hey, here's the game. You know? Which I don't think is a bad thing, but, you know, people like personality, which is not, you know, not a shocking revelation by any stretch. Yeah. Do your dark sand. Yeah, there we go. That fixes it. Okay, let's add in some extra props here and there. Let's add in a couple more spires, especially further out. Oh, I don't think have I shown you guys the revamped visuals of the fourth world at all of Time of Demise? I don't think I have. Once we finish propping this level up, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll just add these guys to the backgrounds for now. Yeah, we'll do the same with the ice spires. I think the spires generally are just a really simple but like kind of nice looking way of adding that extra detail. And since they're so simple, they really don't add much like performance cost either. But the effect they have on the atmosphere, I think, is really quite pronounced, honestly. Yeah, like already this just feels a lot more like whole. Yeah, the backgrounds just feel way more like filled in with all these different heights and stuff jutting out. And I'll even go in and just change some of these heights around, make them a little more interesting, give them a little more variance. Add a little rotation here, add a little rotation there. You know, keep the player guessing. You know, they're never gonna know how thick something is. Captivated by the characters, I think the jokes are funny, and I like the game. Not a very reliable source, though, as this game is my special interest, and I'm insane. Okay, well, thank you. I do want to get better at like talking and stuff, because I like entertaining. That's something I've always enjoyed. Like I've thought about, you know, wanting to be, you know, kind of like an entertainer. Which is part of why I do the streams, is because it just sort of fulfills that little part of my brain. And I want to get better at it. I want to get better at talking and bullshitting. I think it's a very good skill to have. Okay, slow down. There we go. Don't know Weezer that well. What's it like? I don't really. Yeah, I guess it's nerd rock. It's Weezer. I haven't listened to any Weezer. I do need to, because it's pretty like essential listening. But I've been on my Black MIDI kick lately, and I've been listening to those albums quite a lot. It's good shit. I don't know how you describe. Actually, some of you guys are young, so maybe you guys shouldn't listen to Black MIDI or Jordy Creep. That's not suit for young ears. Was that a bug? No, it wasn't. Okay, yeah, but I think this looks a lot better. Couple of simple, small changes just really help bring everything together. Okay, I'm gonna consider World 5 for now as being completely done in terms of props. I think the final boss stage needs a little bit of extra work, but I'm not going to show you guys that. That is illegal. Okay, so here's what I have left to do that is high priority. We need to add the Gork food, which is the collectibles you find in the hub area, and I think we'll probably be doing that next Saturday stream. Let's see, I need to do the intro and outro sequences, which are coming along pretty well. The intro sequence is almost done, it just needs some extra polish. The outro sequence needs a little bit more work than that, but it is also coming along pretty good. I need to add extra help bubbles around the hub. I need to add the credit sequence, get the final music in, unique ranking animations, redraw some memorabilia, and get the final bits of memorabilia in, the achievement system, and that's it. That's everything we gotta do. I got a whole month to do just that. That sounds super doable. That sounds doable. I think I can do that. I think one of the harder parts left is going to be Steam achievements, and that's just going to be figuring out how to get those implemented. I will do my damnedest to have those available at launch. If not, they'll probably be post-launch update, but there will be, at the very least, in-game achievements. Which I want to have so that way if you're, regardless of if you bought it on itch.io or Steam, you'll be able to get achievements and track those. But from what I've seen, it seems relatively simple to get Steam achievements implemented once you get it going. So I will be gunning for that. Generally think you'd do anything related to the game and I'd still love it. Maybe you should be a little critical of my actions, but I guess I'll take it. Amazing hat. Thank you, Fries. Which patron will be the first one in the credits? So, it'll be sorted, like, top to bottom from tiers of patrons. So, people who pay the higher tier, but it'll probably just be, like, maybe total amount contributed in terms of tiers. So it'll be tier, total amount contributed in the tier, or alphabetical. One of those two. And then there will also be, like, special spots for specific people. Like, Luke Beaton, who is a, like, big supporter. He's been supporting the game since almost the beginning. I think he was one of the first patrons. Has been just a really, really helpful, super helpful? What's the word I'm looking for? Not supportful, supportive, that's the word. But because he has been, like, particularly, cool, he'll get slightly more special treatment, and by that I mean a slightly higher spot in the credits. But yeah, that's generally what I'm thinking. Pretty soon for patrons, we'll be doing a roundup of one last call for anybody who wants to get their name in the credits, and we'll be doing I'll be asking everybody how they want to be credited. So we'll getting all that sorted out very soon. Hey, does anybody like Honey, right? Didn't ask my question. Does anybody know good ways to, like, keep your voice from getting too sore after talking for a bit? Because I know eventually you just keep talking and your throat's gonna just collapse in on itself. It's just an inevitability. But I would like to be able to stream longer, because I'm already thinking that I'm probably gonna be ending kind of soon, just because my voice, my throat is so sore already after just yapping for 2 hours about nothing. And I need to find ways to surpass my feeble body's limitations, so I can stream for more than an hour and a half before my throat collapses in on itself. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it would be critical. I don't like that B changes colors in different modes, but you don't have to do anything about that. Well, I like it that he does. Drink tea, yo. Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah, I'll show you the World 4. Because I'm thinking about wrapping up for today pretty soon. But I will show off the new Timely Demise stuff. Now, you might be thinking, Seth, this doesn't look very different. Oh yeah, how about now? How about now, huh? Does that look different? Yeah, I'll get into tea, I guess. I don't really drink tea. I had it when I was a kid and didn't like it, so now I've permanently sworn off tea, but I should not be a little goo-goo gaga bitch and try tea. Throat coat tea, is it for musicals? Okay. Good to know. Yes, this one looks fairly standard, but this one's got an all-black skybox. I think I kind of want to add, like, some stars or something to it as well, but you got this bright orange lava, which I think makes this world stand out a little bit more interestingly. And then 3 has... Oh yeah, I forgot about 3. 3 has the blood red sky. I think I want to change probably still the level 1 one. And you know what? Before we conclude today, let's try adding some stars and stuff and see how that looks. Let's see. Sky preset. We'll just keep it as that. Say... stars. slightly brighten this just so we can see the stars at first to see if they're, you know, going to show up or not. Star brightness. Let's make the stars really bright. I don't know where the stars are not showing up. We have it set. It's like custom mode. Sun and stars. There we go. Yes, the stars overlay color. We can make it anything. We can make those like a bright red. That could be kind of cool. Make these really bright. Ooh. Hold on. Wait. I think I'm kind of cooking here, actually. And then if we make the... Yeah, and then if we do... this a black? Oh, no, then they don't show up. Okay, so we just have to make it a near black. If it's an absolute black, then they won't show up. But look at that, though. That's kind of sweet, actually. That's kind of rad as hell. Maybe a little busy, but it's cool. It's really cool looking. I like that. Lava sounds yummy. The lava looks low quality. It does actually kind of look low quality. I think it's just because it's using a noise texture, which is like a randomly assorted like selection of sounds like somebody's using a jackhammer upstairs. But yeah, I use a noise texture for the lava effect. So if we go to lava, what do they call it? Fire, death, demise that plane. Yeah. So it uses a noise texture, which will randomly generate sort of a series of shapes and structures, and it's so large and stretched out that it does kind of look low quality at a closer distance. And you're right, it does look a little bit crusty at a closer distance. So you know, let's try experimenting a little bit so we can maybe see if we can't punch that up a little bit, make it look a little nicer without getting too busy. Yeah, like maybe that's like the good middle ground we want to hit, because it looks kind of fuzzy, but maybe in a slightly less noticeable way. But the problem is you just don't want it to get you don't want it to be too thin because it starts to get really noisy from a distance. Like you can see right there, it already gets kind of like really cluttered looking. So we want to get that fine line before we go too far. So it's going to have a 6-course meal with this one. In fact, a radical. Glad we're on the same page. I think the lava could be a bit darker. Okay, we can give that a try. It is very bright, and that's part of it is that it is supposed to be super bright and aggressive looking. We could tone it down a slight bit. See how that looks. I guess the problem is that it does kind of contrast. It does make some of the enemies blend in a little bit when they're also super high contrast. Maybe if we just bring it down a little bit. Let's try cutting the saturation down slightly. Ooh, now it looks... I don't know if I like that. No, I don't like that. Nah, I don't like that. Let's just make it darker. Okay, it just keeps getting more saturated. It's just turning more... It's turning more and more liquid red. More and more Cheeto dust red. What does this do again? I forgot. A lot of this, like, I was gonna say stole, but that's not really accurate. I used a tutorial, so I don't know exactly how a lot of this is fully functional. Hurts my eyes. It is really bright. That is fair. We'll do some tweaking to get it at that right level. Why did you fling him? What if we try giving it a little bit of opacity? I guess one other issue is that it is hard to tell if you're highlighting the death plane or not. I guess you can just tell if it's not blue, because the blue does contrast pretty well, so you can kind of easily tell. Let's see. Let's keep toying around with this for a little bit. So you choose 5? What do you even do? What does this thing do? I don't even know if I don't even think they explained it in the tutorial. I think it just kind of did it and like, alright, and then do that, and then do this, and then it'll look like that, and then it'll do this. What if we make it like a bit more of a magenta-y color? How's that look? No. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. Let's try a LERP node. So in this, yeah, what this will do is it'll apply a bit of a darkening effect to it. Yeah, let's set that to, let's experiment with the alphas a little bit, so we can make it more or less dark. Oh, that's kind of cool looking. Is that still hurting your eyes, Mr. Jonas? So want to make sure, that players don't feel physically pained when they're trying to play a level. You know, that would be unfun, I imagine. I really am liking the addition of the stars. I think that is pretty additive. I do want to lower it a little bit. Because, yeah, you can see that the stars are kind of like... Yeah, there we go. Sort of see the stars getting cut off at the bottom. Yeah, now that it looks a little more like it's all coming together. I like the sort of like sparkliness of it. It's really cool looking. Kind of feels like you're in a big cave. It's a very, very unique looking level, to be sure. We'll do some more experimentation, I think, just to get that all going in the right direction. Okay, but I think that we will we'll be. What's going on? Is my computer freezing? I think my tab froze. Yeah, give me a second. I think my YouTube crashed, so I can't actually check the chat. I was wondering why why everything suddenly stopped. Let me just try to get this open one more time. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now I can actually see you guys. Setting for not bright lava that turns the lava into a repeated texture of this is lava. Weezer colored lava. Like that now, good job. Okay, cool. Coolio. Well, with that being done then, I think we will go ahead and wrap things up for today. Thank you all so much for showing up. Should see you guys again in about a week to do a little bit more of the final work. Getting everything together as we're really getting closer and closer to the final launch date. Yeah, the Void Collector OC be going on Spotify and stuff. That'd be cool. I haven't thought about that, but I would be down. But yeah, peace out, everybody. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and I hope you guys will do well. And now I'm going to keep talking as I click end stream, and I'm just going to get caught off at some random point, but I don't know when, because